sister from another mister.
Oh my God.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great. You're like, truly are one person that I would consider obviously a sister. And you've always kind of been an inspiration to me. And this is being genuine. We already started, so this isn't.
Darn it.
No,
Okay.
but no. Honestly, I don't know many people that have bigger hearts than you, and that is honestly like something that inspires me because you've always been one there to push me, kind of whack me in the head, if you will, and say, "Hey, dude, do this, do that." And I'm encouraged by that because you obviously have been successful in your journey in faith and business and life. And so my biggest question to you right now is, where are you traveling to next? That's all you ever do.
Well, I'm going to Fort Worth tomorrow. I don't know if that counts, but I'm
No,
excited.
tell me more about
getting on the road.
the
I just
long
like to go
journeys, the
somewhere.
over the ocean ones that you go to all the
I
time.
may go to Egypt with CBC. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
But since I bought my company
You
back,
may want to bring this in a little closer.
since I bought the company back,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll have time.
Yeah.
So we'll
So
see.
Egypt is on a
Egypt. Moses was in Egypt.
No, I know.
You know.
So
yeah.
CBC is doing
Yeah, they were going to go back.
excursion?
They were going to go back to Israel, but obviously, they can't. And so they said anyone that had paid, they had credit for, and then they opened it up for members. And so I was like, okay, but I haven't
Nice.
signed up yet. I've got a lot going on, so I don't know if I can get away. But it is like the end of October.
Thank you for your time, by the way. I know it's kind of hard to kind of just.
Man. It was
get
a
you
busy day
down.
today, but I
Yeah.
like getting out.
You're
you know?
always busy.
I one thing I don't like at all is talking. So you
Oh yeah, okay. I think this is going to
Kidding.
be the Cyndi Roberts
Just
podcast here.
Kidding. I like this. This is a pretty cool setup.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
This
pretty
is
nice.
this is new for me. I don't know if I kind of shared with you why I'm doing this, but just kind of manifested in the past 4 weeks. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to do something different. Kind of growing and adapting to technology, right? And social media, and
I like
this
it.
is a platform. Another, some of the people I talk to, I listen to podcasts. I don't know if you do.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, and so there's obviously this is nothing new. Everyone's doing it, but this is just another way for people to more than anything get to know you, right?
Yeah.
Get to know about anything, right?
Yeah.
And this is just essentially, I feel the wave of the future, right? And then it could be used as a marketing tool or educational or whatever. So I just felt like I just needed to do that. My sole goal is to promote, my guests or people that are with me, my colleagues, my friends, and encourage them, hear their stories,
Yeah,
listen
that's
to their
awesome.
testimony, their challenges, and
I like it.
and whoever sees it that needs to see it, hopefully it blesses them. So
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm
That's
just
okay. You know
we're just
what?
doing it,
Well, I watched some Christian podcasts, like Christian comedian podcasts.
Okay.
And they just talk about everything and
Yeah.
anything. They're kind of funny. So
Yeah.
today's International Happiness Day. So
Wow, it's every day, isn't it?
well,
You have to have at least one
You
day,
have to have
right?
at least one day to just really, I think I'm going to buzz over and get my team some, I don't know, something that makes them happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go get probably a bundt cake or something like that. Take care of the team.
Yeah.
Take care of those who take care of you.
So you have a awesome story, many stories, obviously. But I first want to ask, so you had some time off last year.
Yes.
And so what did you not necessarily do, but what did you appreciate about the time off?
Oh, I just had great time with God. Like I got to journal and kind of get up when I wanted. And I tried to keep a good schedule for myself. So I'd get up and I'd journal, which I'm still doing now. So I'd journal and then I would just kind of relax with my dog and hang out. And I actually took some classes at CBC. So there's really, they have some really good classes there, a foundation series by a couple of Christian psychologists. That's really awesome. So anyone can take those classes, by the way. So you don't have to be a member of CBC, but
Right.
those were great. I got to travel, like we said.
Right.
We got to travel. I think last year I was in Greece and in France.
Did your mom go with you?
No. But she did go with me at the end of the year. We went to the East Coast
Okay.
and popped over on Halloween. We were actually in Salem, and we went some other places on the East Coast, did a tour and saw the fall leaves. That was awesome.
Nice.
I was in California. Did some other trips to Louisiana to see family. And so, I mean, it's funny. I thought I was in retirement and I didn't hardly get anything done at home, but I did.
You still stayed busy.
I did. I did a remodel for a friend and I did a closet remodel for myself, 2 bathrooms for my mom. So, yeah, it was good.
So your mom's good?
She's good. Mom's good. Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah.
She's super sweet.
Yeah. Y'all have done floors for her and 2 bathroom remodels.
She's awesome.
She's good.
Yeah, I know. You said remodel, and the thing that what I get encouraged by you, and that I want to emulate, and I'm gonna hold myself accountable right now. Okay.
All right.
And this part of what I'm doing is, obviously, you got to be transparent and kind of be more open and honest about where you're at. You know me, you've known me, so I can't sit here and fib about anything. But because you started your journey in your business about 15 years ago, 16 years ago?
2024 this year.
No. From originally when you first started. When
I
you
first
went up on
started
your own.
in 2004 at my house.
Yeah. So it's almost 20 years.
It's going to be 20 years in December.
Right. Okay. So I'm about 17. So
okay.
But I know your journey started out of your house.
Yep.
Slowly kind of
out of the house.
Built that.
Yeah, like 8 years. And then the blinds were falling out of the garage. They were coming. The UPS guy couldn't deliver them fast enough, and I had no more room in the garage. And I just kind of felt God saying it's time to move forward. And so I looked at 2 places, tried to fit myself into them. And when I realized I wasn't doing His will, I just found another place, and that's the place. And then we expanded 4 years later, and then we opened the Bernie Gallery 5 years ago. That's already been 5 years. We're getting ready to sign another lease there. Yeah.
But when was it when you started this that you knew you were meant to do this? Because you started before you went off on your own, you were at Home Depot. That was kind of one of the first.
Yeah, I mean, I came out of college. I think I knew that I wanted to do design when I was young. In my teens, I had an uncle that built homes. He built really nice high-end homes. I had another uncle who was in oil and gas in the 70s and in the 80s. So in the 70s, he was making a lot of money, and the houses were amazing. Granite back then. The carpet, I said, was this thick, and
the shag carpet.
Yeah, exactly. But it was actually a really tight, high pile, and I was surprised it wasn't like a shag. It was really nice. And so I kind of got the bug then and loved the design. And I mean, they had they had separate bathrooms, and I was like, I'm going to do that when I get older. And so I always knew I wanted to be a designer. And so I went to UTSA, and then right out of UTSA, I went to work for Home Depot. And I got thrown in the window covering department. And so I learned how to mix paint, how to do window coverings, how to hang wallpaper, how to lay tile, how to put tile in a backsplash. Don't call me to install your tile. You won't get any good reviews. But I learned how to do all of that. So I got my bachelor's degree at UTSA, and then I got my master's degree at Home Depot. That's what I always say.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so that's kind of I knew I'd have a company, and so I just kind of worked for them, and after 2001, sorry, after 9/11, I came home. So I came home and worked for Bed Bath & Beyond. I was traveling all over.
From where, though? Where were you at?
I was in Atlanta at that time.
Okay.
So with Home Depot, they had the Expo Design Centers, which they no longer have, but they had high-end flooring, and that's where I learned about Karastan and all the carpet companies and the rugs and just everything. And so after 2001, when I came home, I was a corporate trainer for Home Depot at the very end for the Expo Design Center after 9 years. And then, 9/11 happened. I came home. I worked for Ashley Furniture, Bed Bath & Beyond as management. And so I was just like, this is crazy. I want to get back to what I love. And so I jumped back into window coverings at the end of 2004. And so at the end of this year, so I walked away on December 15th, cashed a check from the employer, went down and got my DBA, and then that's it.
That was it.
And a few years later, I think in 12, I got my, my LLC.
Wow,
So,
that's awesome. And it's not been a smoothest ride. I'm sure there's been some bumps in the road. But did you ever get to a point when you maybe regretted doing this or kind of had some doubts?
Not really. I think that actually the time No, I mean, I really loved it. I mean, we grew up to 12 people, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's where we grew up to. And you know, by 2001. So, I mean, I don't know that I regretted it. I mean, there's days you regret
Sure.
it, but I have a whole new outlook now. You know,
Right.
it's totally
Well,
different.
you're in a
Totally different
part
place
two.
now. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's just it's and I ask that only because sometimes and I guess you don't, maybe the regretting is not the right word, but sometimes you just question and you just like, because you'll have, I'm sure you've had your challenges and your ups and downs, and I know I did, when I started off, because I've been doing this since I was 20 years old, but
yeah.
and I was part owner of a company with my uncle up until I was 32, so I already had the experience. But when I went off on my own and my third son was just born, and it's like, okay, do I really want to, take this chance, And I knew in my heart I wanted to, because I just wanted to be able to control my destiny, right?
Mm-hmm.
My future, and that's not necessarily be beholden to someone else's plan for me, right?
Yeah.
But during that first couple of years, you start like, and it was tough. This one time, I remember I was because where I regret, the thing that, like, my lessons learned were really in my 20s, because I had pretty good success learning the industry, making money,
Mm-hmm.
growing the family, buying the house, whatever. But I wasn't smart enough to maybe invest, right, or save,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of plan for the future. And then it wasn't until got to the point where I decided to leave on my own. It's like, okay, it's essentially going to start from scratch. So you question yourself. But then
Yeah.
I know a guy that always provided, right,
Mm-hmm.
and always kind of, we were never in need.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a couple times where, and the one vividly, when this is when I was kind of not regretting, but like questioning, what am I doing? Because I had to start over and I was kind of struggling. And, but it was like tough. And I was sitting at my table and my wife was there. And my wife, she's
Mm-hmm.
super supportive, always been there, got my back. And I contemplated working for FedEx at nights because it was tough, right?
Yeah.
It was tight. And I was like, man, I got to do what I got to do, whatever it takes,
Mm-hmm.
But then I kind of just like, no, I just got to press harder over here where I'm at and just keep doing it.
Yeah.
So there's those challenges when you start off, right?
Yeah.
And the encouraging thing is like, you go through those, right? That's kind of gets you to become more resilient,
Yeah.
right? And then, you learn and you start reflecting and, okay, I don't want to be in this position again.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've had many of those moments.
I don't know. It's funny because I don't think about a lot of them. It's nice when I didn't have the family. I didn't have to provide in the same way.
Right.
So me being single, not having any children, just, having dogs. I mean, I didn't have to make a lot of money. I could live on a smaller amount of money. And so for me, it probably wasn't the same kind of journey.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little easier for me. Now, I wouldn't say it was easy, obviously. I mean, I did home shows and I, put out flyers, on doors, and I did a lot of networking and things like that. But it is a lot easier when you're working from home in the beginning.
Right.
I think the biggest time was that stepping out of faith in like 13, 12 or 13 when we moved to the galleries, to the offices, and then hiring more people.
Right.
And that's when it gets scary. I think I did try to hire people from home when I work from home, but that's difficult because you don't have a place to bring them to work.
Right.
And I remember one girl I hired, I took over a fax machine to her. I was like, okay, you're going to need a fax machine, and laptop, and all that. Now we have iPads, and that was challenging now that I think back on that. But I think I don't know. I look back and don't remember a lot of that, and it's just interesting.
You've been good at scaling up, and that's one thing that I've always, like I said, respected about you and been encouraged by, because you've always had good teams, right? I mean, it never comes without its challenges, but you've always had good people around you, and that always helps. Obviously you're a good leader, and you've always been good about kind of showing or sharing the vision, right? Core values and whatnot. And that's one thing. And you know what's funny with C12 back in the day, I wish I was still a part of it, but
And you can be.
Sure. And that was a good, for me, like when I joined that group for it was a couple of years, it was so insightful to be surrounded by other peers, other Christians, right? Other faithful people that had their businesses, and then kind of just learn from them and then kind of hear their challenges as well. But you've always kind of been able to, again, not without its challenges, as you've grown and built your business, into a successful business, blessed others at the same time.
Yep.
And I know that's deep in your heart, right? That's just like, and that's again another thing that I admire about you. And I think we both are generous. We both have that servant's mentality, but you definitely go out of your way to make sure that you're out there helping people, and I really commend you for that. And I think that sometimes people talk about it, oh yeah, I'll help here or I'll do that, but they don't. And you actually put your money where your mouth is, and you've done that with what you're doing now.
What we're doing now. I mean, I was on the board of Hearts Need Art in the past, and I mean, now it's just like a whole different thing after that year off. You asked about that, and it's like really trying to figure out who I was. I remember back when I would give to other things, I liked it, and I have an art background, and I wanted to help with the arts, but something last year just changed in me, and God brought many different people into my life through CBC, actually. And I met a young lady that worked for ChildSafe, and that's where if you have abused children, if someone is abused, they go there and they report it to the police. They have CPS, they have counselors, and they have a lot of different support for children that are abused. And so it's our children's advocacy center here in town. I mean, they have them in most cities. But I met a young lady that worked in donations, and I went over to something that I met the CEO, and God was just telling me, since I was doing my design work and I wasn't selling blinds anymore, selling window coverings, I was like, I want to do room remodels for the kids. I want to do something to give back to these children who are stuck in trauma and think this is all they are at this time. So I was like, we have the opportunity to really give a hand up for hope, really to give them an opportunity to be able to have a better environment, whether it's changing, walls, the bedding, the floors, I mean, I remember when I was young, and that is a part of my past. I was abused as a child, and that's just part of my story. I mean, I've overcome that, and I like to say, I've just moved on from that, but there's a lot of trauma that I even faced a lot of it last year, just really learning about it. But I want these girls and boys to know that they aren't just their situation right now. And so I wanted to come alongside them and like I said, lift them up. Because when I was a kid, I mean, I had the same room that I always had. It was white. I didn't really have a lot of decorations or anything. And I really think it's important to find out, you talked about my generosity. Everybody has talents. God's given us a lot of talents.
Right.
And I mean, it's just that young people may not know what they are. And so now with all this online and everything, I just really want to get back to the basics, get them a room that feels comfortable, that maybe plays into art for them, drawing, building blocks, whatever it is, music. And so I feel like if someone is, at risk or abused or taken advantage of, it's just nice to have a space where you can actually figure out who you are and do all that. So now that's what we're doing, and that's what Blinded by Delight's purpose is. Awesome. So when clients, right now when clients come to me and they come to the office, we actually explain that part of their job, part of the percentage of their profit goes to doing that. Awesome. And so, it helps me even when people get upset. I'm just like, hey,
that's awesome.
I have a purpose. Like I don't just go sell window coverings anymore. Right. I go, the end result is going to be kingdom work for these kids. Right. And so even if a client's mad at me or I have a bad day with a associate, it doesn't matter because I know that what I'm doing is kingdom work.
That's
so
awesome.
It's totally different than what I've ever done before.
You're giving these kids hope, a good environment, some inspiration. And that's to your point. I think sometimes even kids that aren't abused, that aren't just kids in general don't have that.
Yeah.
And that's inspiring. That's awesome. The phase 2 of your business. Do you want to share about how phase 1 kind of came to an end and how
Oh, gosh.
potentially,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that you thought you were kind of riding away.
I know. I thought I was riding away down the sunset, but it actually obviously is God's plan because, I mean, yeah, so owned the company, grew the company, went from $0 to 2.5 million in revenue and had 12 employees. That was including myself. Maybe it was 13, maybe I was lucky 13. I don't know. But I decided, well, I actually didn't decide, but I was a CEO, not doing a lot. The team was just kind of cranking, and I was like, hey, what do I do? So I decided to step out and interview a couple of people. And so I stepped out and interviewed like Deanne Harper. She's a client and a friend. And so I talked to her, and I talked to a couple other people. And one of the people I spoke to was the owner of the company that ended up purchasing my company. And he said, hey, what are you doing now? And I said, I may sell. I don't know what I'm going to do. And so he said, you should talk to my CEO. And so like the next 2 weeks after I spoke to him, I ran into his CEO twice. And I'd met him once before, a long time, a couple of years before, but I ran into this guy twice. And so I was like, this is a God thing. This is part of the story. And so we talked, and the second time I saw him, I said, we have got to set a time, we've got to meet. And so we had lunch, and then we started talking, and then they made an offer to buy the company. And I was excited because, the team got lots of great benefits and everything. And I was like, yay, this is good. I can go do something fun. And so I stayed with them for 2022. And at the end of the year, it was, I decided it was time. We kind of all decided it was time to go. We unfortunately had a kind of a pitfall. The CEO that had worked with me to purchase everything had a brain aneurysm, and so he's no longer with the company. And he's still alive. He's doing okay, but he's he's still disabled. He's not going to be able to really hold that focus as a CEO anymore or anything. And so that was tough. And we're still friends, so I'm blessed to have his friendship. But so
at that point, when you told me that you sold, I was super excited for you.
Yeah,
I was like,
I was too.
Here
Well,
we go. Yeah, here we go. And that kind of I was like, got me thinking, it's like, maybe I can sell my company, which was kind of just a quick thought. But then I like I said, I still have plans for the future. But I just was so proud of you because it's like, man, that's like almost like not the ultimate goal, but you grow your baby, right? Yeah. And then maybe the hard part is maybe handing off that baby to someone else. That
was hard.
And maybe that's kind of how or why phase 2 is happening now, because not everybody takes care of your baby the way you do it.
Well, yeah. And I mean, they have the company had their specific ideas, which aren't bad ideas because the company is a really good company. They have a really strong, like over 20-year background. And I think that they just had the philosophies were similar, but just a different way that they sold their products. And I think they were just trying to fit our products into the way they sell their products. And it didn't really work the way that they had hoped. So I was sitting on my couch. I remember the minute I got a text to say, hey, can you talk? And the owner of the company asked if I could talk to him. And so I took his call a little bit later, and he just said, we're pivoting and we need to make a different decision. And would you like to buy the company back? And I was completely surprised. And I said, I'm going to have to think about this, pray about it. But God had been moving some things in my life for the room remodels.
Right.
And so that had all started in March. And so I got to meet the CEO of the ChildSafe. And then we had some meetings with directors. And I really started thinking, should I do these room remodels for like a nonprofit, or what should I do? And
you were also getting back into the design, right?
Yeah.
Kind of wholeheartedly into that.
I started my other company, Desires of Your Heart Design, which is based off of a Bible verse, delight yourself in the Lord and He'll give you the desires of your heart. So I'd started that last year.
Wait, can I backtrack? Is Blinded by Delight based off the song in the 70s? Or no, that's
somebody mentioned it. We actually tried to name
it Blinded by. Isn't it?
It's Blinded by the Light.
Oh, okay.
And that came up when we were naming it, and I said, well, we can't make anyone happy by them still being blinded by the light. Yeah. So we changed it to D-Light, and we couldn't play the song because we probably would have had to pay a lot of money. But I know. It's we hear that all the time, and we're just blessed. I mean, the name was still the same. Right. Our website was still the same. Our pictures were still on it.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, everything. They didn't quite acclimate us because when the brain aneurysm happened in 22, they had to promote a CEO
Right.
out of their own company, and I think it was just hard for them to, backfill that and have a plan. So God already had his own plan. I mean, this whole thing was working, and then when he called me, I never expected that phone call. I knew that there was some challenges with the company, but I never thought I'd ever get the phone call. And so got the phone call, and I prayed on it, and I said, I'll look into. I said yes, I will go down the path of buying it back, because I really felt like I'm a vessel. God gave me this vehicle, the business back, to actually be able to go to clients and just, be able to get that use that profit, use some of that profit to do that. And I mean, I could tell you on a daily, you and other friends what I'm doing, but now we can tell clients, we can put it on our website, we could put it on Facebook.
Is that like the biggest difference between the new company versus the old?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I mean, before I was doing things and I was giving money to Hearts Need Art or to other things that, I mean, I supported some of your stuff, and the thing is that's not something, it was in my heart for art, but it was not who I was. And so last year, as I explored some things, and I mean, I went to I'm open about this, I'm transparent, but I went to a women's trauma class, and about, abuse from when you're younger. And I felt like, that showed me a lot about who I was. And that was toward the end of the year. And, just a lot of these classes. And I just felt so deep inside that I could help children that were in that same thing. I also happened to know the CEO through C12 of, CJRC, which is a foster care here. And so, I mean, there's just so many. I know, another one, Megan Legacy over at, Christian Hope. Well, now there's San Antonio Hope Resource Center. I mean, I know all these women, and I mean, these people may need what we have. And now I met the CEO and the people over at ChildSafe, and I'm like, God is just putting these people in my path. And it's like, he's numbered those steps exactly. And so every day, like I said, when I get up, I have my quiet time, my prayer time, and I know no matter what happens that I'm doing at the end, like what I'm doing right now. We're planning our next room remodel for 8, 7, 6, and 5-year-old girls, 4 girls. I'm just doing that, and I'm, buying things and all this stuff. And it's like, I know that in like 10 days, we're going to make a difference to these girls.
That's
and so
awesome.
it doesn't matter if someone gets mad, if a client doesn't purchase. I mean, all those things. I mean, we still treat our clients the best, and I try to treat the employees, my associates, the best I can. And I mean, it's just, now it's kingdom work to me. That's the difference.
Yeah, and I think you've already had that mindset to begin with, but I think this little break between the two phases of your company probably just kind of elevated you and accelerated you even more. Maybe gave you more of that passion that you already wanted. Plus, maybe a reset for you, right? Personally, and kind of dealing with some of the things you needed to deal with. And that's awesome. I think that's to your point, part of the plan, right? And allowing you to kind of just do what you do now. Do you feel? I mean, obviously, I'm sure your team's on board. From what's the biggest challenge now, though, kind of resetting, starting over, when it comes to business itself? Do you have to kind of now get new clients or new network differently, or branding yourself differently, or? It's almost like you kind of had that ball rolling, then it stops, and then do you start over?
Well, it didn't really stop. It was like a boulder. I mean, it's a boulder that's running. I mean, we're getting a lot of repeats, a lot of referrals. We're getting a lot of advertising. Matter of fact, I bought it pretty much 2 months ago, and I mean, we're pretty busy for the staff we have. The biggest problem, I'll say, or the biggest challenge, is I came on with only like a skeleton crew. I have one amazing customer service lady who the company before me had, and I kept her. And then I have an amazing installer and one salesperson. And then there's myself, who can do sales but has no time because I don't have an operations manager or a sales manager or any of that. And so I brought on one other lady that we're training right now, but it's the biggest challenge is finding the right people. Like I need to find another salesperson, and I got to find someone in Bernie. And before I would be super stressed, and right now I know I need them, but I I've put some word out and things, but I'm also like, God's going to find the right
Sure.
person. So now where I used to be ready to leave, I'm actually hunkered in and I'm like, I'm doing this because I know the answers are going to come.
Right.
I know that he gave me this back for a reason. So if he did that, he's going to give me the right people.
Right.
So that's the thing. And my team, by the way, is behind it. I had every one of them were excited about it. They've been background checked. And next Wednesday, we're doing their orientation. Because when you work with ChildSafe, you can't just, you couldn't just go and roll up and bring some carpet. You have to be background checked and you have to, you know, there's a lot of secrecy and privacy issues. And so the whole team is excited. I'm closing on Good Friday. I can't think of a better day like to do that for these girls. And so we're sending them to the zoo and then we're going to do everything. The team is going to help me. We're going to
like one day just kind of do it.
Yeah. It's actually like those
but
shows.
they know what to expect.
Yeah.
The
So
kids.
what I did was I created a questionnaire just like I would for you if I was coming to your house for window coverings or a design project. So I asked the parent or the guardian to ask the questions of the kids. And so they tell us all about what their likes are, you know, how the room might want to be decorated, colors they like, where they might want to travel, because, you know, I had to throw a travel question in there. So do all that. And then we get that back. I go in, I'll measure the whole room and I'll take pictures of it. And then I'll figure out, do we need beds? Can we do carpet? Can we do paint? You know, it depends on the situation. So both of these, one was an apartment and obviously they didn't own it. This one is a rental property. And so we can't paint, but we can hang boards on the wall. We can do drapery.
You still decorate,
yeah, there's a lot we can do. And we're going to change the bedding and mattresses. You know, so the whole team is super excited.
That's
so
awesome.
we're going to close and we're going to do that. And it'll probably take us, we'll get there probably at 9. We're probably done at 2 or 3. So it's quick. And that we also ask them to box everything up, have things ready to be moved out, and then we'll just get everything out. And yeah, so it's
awesome.
super exciting. The first one was great. It was just myself and the team at ChildSafe, like about 4 or 5 people. Now I'm super excited because the team is excited.
Yeah.
So I know that that'll change their mindset too. You know, if a client yells at you or gets mad, which we don't really have.
No, but
I mean,
you have a good reason.
it just rolls off your back. And
well, most of, and I think you're have the ability to attract good customers. I think, especially over the years, people you got that reputation and they know what you're about. You tend to attract clients, better clients, if you will, and so most of them should understand. Yeah. But tell me what Blinded by Delight specifically does. Like, what's your all's niche?
We sell, you know, high end. We're a high-end Hunter Douglas gallery, so we sell blinds, shades, shutters. Right now, we have a hold on drapery because I'm the only one that can do drapery, but that's something else that we can do. But we do, you know, shutters or really nice window coverings. We can do automation, you know, not home automation, but blind automation that works with the home. So we can do all of that type of thing, and we can take down the old shades, put up the new ones. We can actually get things made from seamstresses, but most of it comes from our vendors. Just like if you buy carpet, they make something, but we can do custom if we need to as well.
Do y'all do any new construction or just residential remodel? Or?
We mostly do. I'd say most of our things are people remodeling. We used to do a lot of, you know, neighborhoods where we got the neighborhood and you'd do blinds. I remember 20 years ago, I did a lot of blinds, a lot of just measuring for blinds. We are actually higher end now, and I think a lot of people that want blinds might go to Home Depot, places like that. But we sell a lot of higher end products. I mean, I think our average ticket is probably $5,000 or $6,000, but it can be all the way up to 25, 30, 40. It depends on what the size of the job is. Windows are big now. I mean, a lot of these windows are huge, and so you know, one window covering can be $2,000 or $3,000 if it's got motorization and it's big. You just never know. So that's our niche, is the higher end. And again, we're a Hunter Douglas gallery. So hashtag Hunter Douglas. We actually do a lot of their product. I mean, when you're a gallery, you are specifically selling their product. I do have other brands that are a little bit less expensive, but we mostly sell the Hunter Douglas in the San Antonio gallery here in Heimer, and then the Bernie gallery.
So you have a big showroom. That's over.
We've got a nice
bidders.
showroom, and we're going to actually have a gathering soon.
Nice.
So we're
kind
going
of like a
kind
opening.
of reopening, repurchasing, tell about our mission, and just have people come out and see. And we're going to let them bring friends, let them bring people, let them do the marketing. So
where do you see? What's your vision for the business in this phase 2? Like, do you think you'll still plan on maybe selling it again, or just kind of,
yeah.
Have you pictured 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where you're going to be with it?
I pictured probably in 3 years, I'll probably have it sold
again.
Damn,
just short term. Let's get it done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I'll be doing the room remodels. You're
going to just focus more on that.
I'm going to focus more on
design.
that. But I need to get, like I said, the right people and again, it's funny how people say, what's your goal? And it's like, well, you can ask me my goal all the time, but God has his own plan. Yep. So I'm just going to say, this is what I'd like to do, and then see what God says I'm going to do. Right. And so hopefully I'll be doing this full time with the team. I mean, the team also needs to sell, but maybe I'll be doing it with a lot more people. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do is I'll sell it again. So yeah.
You know who called me last week? Speaking of C12, Zach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's having another baby.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I'm out.
Hopefully, I thought they figured out what happened, how that happened, how that happens. Yeah, this is going to be like number 5, I think.
Yeah. No, he knows how it happens. He knows exactly how it happens.
Yeah.
But no, he reached out. It was kind of cool because I hadn't chatted with him in a few years, and he's just asking for some help to do some stuff at his house. But it was good, and I actually am supposed to meet with him on Friday, and I'm excited to chat with him. And and one thing that I was going to mention earlier that I'm going to hold myself accountable to you, I'm telling you today, now, is I'm going to hire a sales guy.
Okay.
And it's been long overdue, I've got too much on my plate. And now doing, something like what I'm doing now with this and networking more and kind of just getting out there. I really, man, I like it. I love just kind of hanging out with people and just being around like other encouraging people and just kind of getting inspired by them. And I want to do more of that. But the trade-off is you don't have customers that are being tended, right?
Exactly.
And so I'm working on the job description right now. And by April 1, I'm going to start posting some stuff and to hire someone. So, and I have a kind of a new, I don't say vision because I'm still working on it for the company, and it kind of reevaluating the core values and the mission and all that. But I'm excited about it. I don't know. It's like 17 years doing it the way I've been doing it. It's like, and I say this all the time because I do what I do because I only know how to do it the way I do it. But getting around people like you, getting around like other business leaders, I feel sometimes, and I was telling Andrea this yesterday, that I want to be able to kind of encourage people based on my experiences, right? And kind of instill some hope and especially those these people are getting into the entrepreneurial world. And tell them, hey, you're going to face some challenges and stuff. But my way may not always be the right way on how I do it. But the one constant thing that I do believe in is that God's there for me, and I know that He's always provided, and I'm faithful in that. But I feel like now it's like, man, you know what? I think there's still a lot more that I need to be doing. You know what I mean? And I shared this with someone before, but like last year for me, it felt like a wasteful year. And it just was like, okay, went by and just felt like I didn't maybe do what I was supposed to be doing. And so part of why I'm kind of trying to do something different, right? Can't expect any changes if you don't change what you're doing. And I'm excited about it though. And I do know that if I do want growth, I need people, I need help. I need to be able to delegate and trust and just do it, You
can't sell it if you walk away from it.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to sell it because I got my 3 boys. They're getting older, and they're at that age. My oldest one's 22 already, right? And my
there's your salesperson right there. Get him out of college.
Listen. The thing is, my biggest thing with them is for them to pursue their passion. Sure. Right? My oldest one's doing manufacturing engineering. My middle son, freshman, and at UTSA, and he's studying business. So I still got my younger one in high school, but I really want them to pursue their dreams, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how that's going to manifest
Mm-hmm.
or show itself down the line if they graduate and they say, hey, well, we want to kind of learn more about this.
Yeah.
And then absolutely, that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what drives me every day,
Yeah.
is just, I've always, since I started on my own, just every day put on my boots and just get to work.
Just get to
You
work.
can't worry about the outside noise.
Yeah.
And I always try to tell people this too. It's like, some people complain about, politics, culture, and it's an issue regardless, right? Whatever side of the fence you're on. But the one thing that no one can control is my ability to get up every day and go connect, grind,
Exactly.
work hard.
Yeah.
And I still want to do that. I still want to keep doing that. And not only that, but because my kids are in college, so I got to pay for that. So I have to do that.
Of course. Yeah.
No, but so building something generationally is my goal, but I can't sit back and wait for, some stuff to happen if I don't go out and do it. But I do know that I need to hire a sales guy. So that's my goal, and kind of go from there and kind of just learn some more.
You'll never catch up on my miles if
No,
you don't
I
get some more
know.
people.
Listen, I don't know. I want to travel more.
Yeah.
Andrew and I, we got our passports a couple
good.
years ago.
Yeah.
I took her to
They have 10 years on them, so
yeah.
you can.
Yeah. So we just next year I think we'll have a bigger trip or big trip.
Yeah.
I'm already kind of like done with Vegas. So okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
You get kind of burnt out with that.
Well, look, you could spend $2,000 instead of gambling on a trip to, somewhere cool or whatever. You could do that and get some great memories out of it.
We went to Rio Doce for spring break. I took my family over there. Man, it was a blast. It was great, and especially seeing that the boys getting older. And it's been a while since we'd done like a family trip like that, and it was really cool just to kind of sit back and relax and just let them be and just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah,
I want to do more of that.
I saw the pictures. It looked good. It looked fun.
So,
I was glad. I was like, I'm not seeing pictures or hearing about Vegas. So I was like, yes. Yeah.
But man, so I'm just happy for you.
Thanks.
I know that you still got a lot of work and purpose in your soul. And like I said, I don't know of anybody that has a bigger heart.
Oh,
and Cyndi Roberts, if I ever get people that are asking for drapes and blinds and whatnot, I will say I know a gal.